The NFL draft is just days away, and in today's video I wanted to come out here with my final 2021 NFL mock draft, and I'm going to be projecting the entire first round. This is going to be a lot more similar to my normal videos, and it's going to be way more formal than my previous two mock drafts. So yeah, but with that being said, before we do get started, make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed it, as it really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you guys are new and enjoyed the content on here so you don't miss out on any new videos. Plus, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and once we hit our goal, I'll do a face reveal. But with that being said, let's just get this video started. And two notes I want to say. One, trades will be included. In the way I'm going to be making these picks, it's a mix of who I think the team will take in real life and who I would take if I was that team's GM. But with that being said, let's just get this video started finally. And with the first overall pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars select KJ. No, I'm kidding. They select Trevor Lawrence, quarterback out of Clemson. The Jaguars, look, they have an easy choice here at number one. Trevor Lawrence is a once-in-a-blue-moon prospect, and Trevor Lawrences do not grow on trees. So Jaguars, you got an easy choice here. Take Trevor Lawrence. Nothing else has to really be said. Next, with the second overall pick, the New York Giants, so not the Giants, the New York Jets select Zach Wilson, quarterback out of BYU. This is another somewhat obvious choice, as Zach Wilson is the consensus number 2 pick. Some people even got him over Trevor Lawrence, and even if you think that's outlandish, Zach Wilson still has a ton of great things about him. He's mobile, accurate, and maybe has the strongest arm in this class, with some people even drawing Patrick Mahomes comparisons because of that arm strength. And now, that's not to say that he's the next Patrick Mahomes, but he's really talented, and I think the choice is pretty clear that the Jets should, and I do think they will, take Zach Wilson with the second overall pick. And with the third overall pick, the San Francisco 49ers select Justin Fields, quarterback out of Ohio State. Now, we know the 49ers are going to be taking a quarterback here. There's a possibility it's Mac Jones or it's Trey Lance, but personally, and I do think this is a real possibility too, I think we're going to be taking Justin Fields. My God, I could not speak there. Anyways, he is one of the best quarterbacks in this draft and has a lot of good things about him. He's athletic, fast, and is a good passer. And the only knock on him I have is that he can't go through his progressions well, but if he can improve that, he has all the tools to be amazing. So San Fran, do yourselves a favor and take Justin Fields. Well, do yourself. Well, I'm a Patriots fan, but moving on. Anyways, with the fourth overall pick, we got a trade here. The New England Patriots are going to be trading up to number 4, and the Falcons will get pick 15, 139, 197, and a 2022 first, and the Patriots will get pick 4 and 182. I think the Patriots are going to be really aggressive trading up in this year's draft, and if they were to trade, I think trading up to number 4 is a possibility. And in this case, we're going to have them trading up with Atlanta. And in this case, with the 4th overall pick, the Patriots will select Trey Lance, quarterback out of NDSU, North Dakota State University. But anyways, Trey Lance is, well, raw, and he is a big boom or bust quarterback. The guy he's a big athletic freak. He has a crazy strong arm. He's a dual threat quarterback and can run, and the guy is really hard to take down. I mean, he is an athletic freak. The big problem with him is that he did face worse competition compared to his peers, and not only that, but he does have accuracy issues. So the guy will need some development, and I do expect him to sit under Cam Newton for a year, at least a year. But yeah, if he can develop well, I do think New England can find their guy. And honestly, I think development under Cam Newton would be pretty good, as Cam Newton is a well-respected NFL veteran. So yeah, there's that for you. Anyways, with the 5th overall pick, the Cincinnati Bengals select Penn Sewell, offensive tackle out of Oregon. I'm sure a lot of Bengals fans would love Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts at number 5, and I'm sure Joe Burrow would love them too. But the Bengals they got to address their offensive line. It's not that great. Riley Reiff was a decent addition, but Sewell is a generational talent, and he is too good to pass up on if you're the Bengals. I mean, the Bengals could use another piece to solidify that offensive line, and honestly, I do think Penn Sewell could be that final piece. Not much else I have to say here besides the Bengals should protect Joe Burrow. So up next, we got the Miami Dolphins, and with the 6th overall pick, I have them taking Jamar Chase, wide receiver out of LSU. The Dolphins are a team on the rise with a really promising future. All they need to do at this point is really supply to it with better offensive weapons and a better run game, and also protect him. Jamar Chase, in my opinion, is the best receiver in this class, and Miami should take him at 6 if he's there. Well, in my opinion, he's a solid all-around wide receiver, and although he can improve his route running a bit, he is still an amazing player. And if you were to add Jamar Chase to a receiving core of Devontae Parker and Will Fuller, you might have yourself one of the best receiving cores in the league, and he could be a true number 1 X receiver. So yeah, they got Jamar Chase in this draft. And next up, we got the Lions, and with the 7th overall pick, they take Kyle Pitts, tight end out of Florida. The Lions got holes everywhere on their roster, and I mean everywhere, but they are pretty short on pass catchers, and they gotta supply Jared Goff with more weapons if he wants any shot at succeeding. Kyle Pitts is the best player available and is the best tight end prospect in years. He can line up anywhere and is a straight up mismatch nightmare. He'd form a great TE duo with TJ Hawkinson, and heck, they can play him at wide receiver. Now he does need to improve his traditional tight end stuff like blocking and all, but he's still a great player, and honestly, I think the Lions should take the best player available and preferably a pass catcher, and in this case, it is Kyle Pitts. And with the 8th overall pick, the Carolina Panthers select Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle out of Northwestern. Now, Sam Darnold should do a lot better in Carolina with the weapons they have around him, like DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and Christian McCaffrey. However, the offensive line is not that great, and it could use some work. Rashawn Slater is the clear-cut number 2 offensive lineman prospect after Penei Sewell. In fact, some people even got him over Penei Sewell. The Panthers got to protect Sam Darnold if they want to possibly make the playoffs. Slater has good athleticism and honestly might be a little bit more NFL ready than Penei Sewell is. I think you could easily improve that defense too with this pick, but honestly, personally, I got them improving the offensive line, and that's who I'd improve. That's what I'd improve with this pick. With the 9th overall pick, we got another trade. The Chicago Bears are going to acquire the 9th overall pick from Denver, giving up 20, 208, 228, and a 2022 second. And the Broncos, they are going to be giving up 9 and 237. And with the 9th overall pick, the Chicago Bears select Mac Jones, quarterback out of Alabama. I do think the Bears are going to be really aggressive in this year's draft, and I think they'll try to target someone like Mac Jones. Denver could possibly trade back. You can argue Mac Jones at 9 is a reach, but the Bears really do need to find their franchise quarterback, and Mac Jones could actually be it. He has his gripes, as I said before, but he's a smart player, and he's a pretty accurate quarterback, and could finally propel Chicago to being a consistent playoff team, and maybe even a contender. With the 10th overall pick, the Dallas Cowboys select Patrick Surtain, cornerback out of Alabama. The Cowboys should be at least a decent team with Dak Prescott coming back. But if they do want to make a deep run in the playoffs, they have to improve that atrocious defense. Patrick Surtain is a really complete cornerback and is probably the best cornerback in this year's draft. And the Cowboys secondary is not that good. So this is I don't really have to say much else. With the 11th overall pick, the New York Giants this time, they select Devonta Smith, wide receiver out of Alabama. The Giants, they have improved the weapons around Daniel Jones by signing Kenny Golladay, which is a really good move. However, why not give Daniel Jones even more weapons by getting the reigning Heisman winner in Devonta Smith? He's a fantastic receiver who's very smart, fast, shifty, and he's a really good route runner. But the biggest concern by far is definitely how skinny he is, and that can be a concern. But with Kenny Golladay, he can play second fiddle to him, so he will go up against worse number 2 cornerbacks, which will create more opportunities for him. Offensive line and pass rush or linebacker also would not be that bad here. But Devonta Smith, he might be a little bit too good to pass up on, and it would give the G-Man a good 1-2 punch, so that is why I got them going with Devonta Smith. And with the 12th overall pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jalen Waddle, wide receiver out of Alabama. Yeah, that's right. 4 straight Alabama prospects in a row. The Eagles, they got to improve the weapons around Jalen Hurts, okay? They have to. They could use this pick on the best wide receiver available, and they should use it on Jalen Waddle. Knowing Philadelphia could also take a linebacker or defensive tackle, but please, just get Jalen Hurts some weapons. With the 13th overall pick, the Los Angeles Chargers select Christian Darrisaw, offensive tackle out of Virginia Tech. The Chargers have a pretty bright future with Justin Herbert, and they made some nice additions to their offensive line by signing Corey Linsley and Matt Filer. However, they could use another piece to, finally solidify, shore up that offensive line and to really just solidify it. And I do think Christian Darrisaw is it. To me, he is the third best offensive lineman prospect in this draft and has really good quickness. He could definitely solidify it into a really good unit. So yeah, I got them taking Christian Darrisaw. With the 14th overall pick, the Minnesota Vikings select Kwity Paye, edge out of Michigan. The Vikings have to improve that defense if they really do want to get back to the postseason. And they do really have to improve that pass rush, as outside of Danielle Hunter, the pass rush is not that good. And there's a real possibility that Danielle Hunter is even traded, so that's not good either. Kwity Paye, in my opinion, is the best pass rusher in this class. He's really fast, he uses his hands well, and is a really hard worker. Now, the guy could use a little bit of bulk, as against NFL tackles, that could be a bit of an issue. But like I said before, he is a hard worker, and with Danielle Hunter on the other side, that can create opportunities for him, since Danielle Hunter will be, drawing a lot of attention. Now, they could create a godly linebacker trio by selecting Micah Parsons, but honestly, I think pass rush is way more of a need for Minnesota. With the 15th overall pick, the Atlanta Falcons select J.C. Horn, cornerback out of South Carolina. The Falcons should look to improve the defense with this pick. I think Micah Parsons also is not a bad idea, but I feel like cornerback is just a bigger need for Atlanta. J.C. Horn might actually be the best cornerback in the draft. Now, I got, Patrick Surtain, as the best corner, but J.C. Horn certainly has a case. He has almost no weakness, has really good size, physicality, and is the most NFL-ready cornerback. I really like him, and ultimately, I have Atlanta choosing cornerback simply because that's their biggest need defensively. Anyways, with the 16th overall pick, the Arizona Cardinals select Caleb Farley, cornerback out of Virginia Tech. The Cardinals have to improve that secondary desperately, okay? Malcolm Butler, he's not fixing all those issues. Caleb Farley is the best cornerback here, and although he has injury concerns, there's no doubt he has a ton of upside and all the tools to make it work. He has good size, physicality, speed, and ball skills. It all just depends on his health, but if he stays healthy, I do think he can be a star NFL corner. With the 17th overall pick, the Las Vegas Raiders select Micah Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State. Offensive line is also a big need for Las Vegas, but they have to improve that defense if they want to make the playoffs. If Parsons falls here, they got an easy decision to make. Although there are character concerns, Parsons is a great player. He has good speed, strength, athleticism, is a great tackler, can stop the run, and is also pretty good in coverage. Parsons to me is the best linebacker in the draft, and the Raiders have to improve the defense in general, so that's why I got them taking Micah Parsons. With the 18th overall pick, the Miami Dolphins select Najee Harris, running back out of Alabama. The Dolphins' run game last season, it was not good, and they have to improve that in order to make this offense better, and if they want to make the playoffs, and if they want to improve. Najee Harris is the best running back in this class to me, and he has great size, awareness, physicality, pretty good speed too. I know running backs are not as important as they once were, but if you want to build a team that's consistently contending for championships, you need a good run game in the NFL. I also do think offensive line wouldn't be a bad choice either, but I got Najee Harris. With the 19th overall pick, the Washington football team select Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker out of Notre Dame. Washington can do quite a bit of things with this pick. Wide receiver isn't a bad pick either, but I'm going to go with JOK because he can make this defense maybe the best in the NFL and just flat out amazing. The football team, they got a fantastic defense, but the linebacker core, it's not particularly strong, bruh. But JOK could, help, alleviate those issues in the linebacking core. He is very fast, can stop the run, and is great in coverage, and is also a pretty decent pass rusher too. He also might be a little bit too good to pass up on, so ultimately I went with JOK. With the 20th overall pick, the Denver Broncos select Elijah Vera-Tucker, offensive tackle, USC. The Broncos can do a lot in this year's draft, but I got them going with an offensive lineman, as they do really need to protect their franchise quarterback, whoever it's going to be. Juwan James has struggled with injuries, and AVT could be a younger and a much better, a good replacement too. He has great speed, versatility, is a good run blocker, and he can also play guard, which, it has to do with the versatility. They could do a lot of things with this pick, but personally, I think AVT is one of the best players available here, and he also does fit a position of need. With the 21st overall pick, the Indianapolis Colts select Rashad Bateman, wide receiver out of Minnesota. The Colts got a really complete team, and like a lot of teams, they can do a lot with this pick. But personally, I think they should go out and get another pass catcher for Carson Wentz. I really like Rashad Bateman and think that the Colts could use another pass catcher for Carson Wentz. Rashad Bateman is a good route runner, has decent speed, and also has really good size. Now, he does have issues with dropping the ball, and he has to improve that aspect of the game. But if he can improve that, I do believe he and Michael Pittman Jr. can form a good 1-2 punch for Carson Wentz. Edge and rusher or offensive tackle is also not a bad pick here, and neither is cornerback, but personally I want to give Carson Wentz some more weapons. With this 22nd overall pick, the Tennessee Titans select Greg Newsome, cornerback out of Northwestern. The Tennessee Titans do have quite a bit of weaknesses, but I do think cornerback is probably the biggest need, as they did release Malcolm Butler and Adoree Jackson and also lost Desmond King, so there is a really big void there in the corner position. Greg Newsome is probably the third or fourth best corner in this class in my eyes. Greg has good ball skills and physicality, and in college, he had a low completion percentage when he was targeted. He's the best cornerback available at this point, and they have other needs, but I'm going to go cornerback with this one. With the 23rd overall pick, the New York Jets select Tevin Jenkins, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma State. The Jets have a lot of options with this pick. They can do a lot of things, but personally, I think they should protect their franchise QB and improve the offensive line. Mekhi Becton was a great pick, but they could do more. They got to do a little bit more if they want to improve the offensive line, as it's pretty made. Tevin Jenkins does have some technique issues, but he plays with great physicality and force, is athletic, and is a really strong guy. He is one of those underrated offensive tackles in this draft, and I think NY should prioritize protecting their franchise QB here. With the 24th overall pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Travis Etienne, running back out of Clemson. The Steelers' offense is pretty 1D, and they have to improve that run game. Now, part of it is the offensive line, because since it's really mid, and they could also draft an offensive lineman here, but after James Conner's departure, I do think the running back might just be the biggest need for Pittsburgh. Travis is really fast, has really good acceleration, and is also a really good receiving back. So that adds some versatility to their to the running back, and that can make the offense even better. So the Steelers, they gotta really improve that run game, and Travis Etienne to me is the second best running back in this class. With the 25th overall pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Trevon Moehrig, safety out of TCU. It seems a little bit inevitable at this point that the Jaguars will take Trevon Moehrig. He's easily the best safety in this class. He is great in coverage, has good ball skills, plus he's actually pretty good at stopping the run. Safety was a massive hole on Jacksonville's roster last year, and frankly, they got holes all over the roster. But hey, safety is one of the biggest needs for this team, and Trevon should be able to improve the safety position for them. An offensive line, that's not a bad option here, but personally, I think Trevon might be a little bit too good to pass up on, and safety is a need, as I said before. With the 26th overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Zaven Collins, linebacker out of Tulsa. The Cleveland Browns have made some good moves in the offseason to help fix their defense by signing Troy Hill and John Johnson. However, as good as those moves are, and as much as I love those moves, they have to improve the front seven, especially the linebacking core. I'm a big Zaven Collins fan, and I think he can really help fix the hole left by Joe Schobert. He is a fantastic coverage linebacker and could really bolster this defense even more. With the 27th overall pick, the Baltimore Ravens select Terrace Marshall Jr., wide receiver out of LSU. The Baltimore Ravens need to provide Lamar Jackson with more wide receiver help, okay? Sammy Watkins was a pretty decent addition, but they still gotta add more to it if they wanna, make a run for a championship. TMJ has good size, decent route running, and is also pretty fast. He could be solid from the get-go and also could possibly develop into a #1 X receiver for the Baltimore Ravens. Pass rush is also a need, but personally, I want to see them go wide receiver and help get Lamar Jackson some more weapons. With the 28th overall pick, the New Orleans Saints select Kadarius Toney, wide receiver out of Florida. The Saints got a really complete team and can really do a lot of things with this pick, but personally, I think they should go out and get a #2 receiver. Kadarius Toney is really fast, athletic, is a good route runner, and should be able to make them an impact right away. He can be used in a lot of ways and is very versatile. He can be used in the run game, obviously the passing game, and he can also be used on special teams. He'll also play next to Michael Thomas, so he'll get more opportunities from Michael Thomas's attention, so that's also pretty good. The Saints do need to get a #2 receiver if they want to continue their Super Bowl aspirations, so ultimately I had them going with Kadarius Toney. With the 29th overall pick, the Green Bay Packers select Asante Samuel Jr., cornerback out of Florida State. The Packers have very few weaknesses on their team. However, they desperately need a #2 cornerback next to Jair Alexander. Kevin King really struggled last season, and they'll obviously need him to pick up his play. But Asante Samuel Jr., I think he's a really good player. He is a little bit undersized, but he is a very fast player, has pretty good man-to-man skills, and has great ball hawking skills like his father, Asante Samuel. He is also a really decent run stopper. Now, he does need to improve his zone skills, but personally, I think he's a good player, and wide receiver also isn't a bad option, as they also do need a #2 receiver, but the wide receiver class is deep, so maybe they do choose to address that in a later round. With the 30th overall pick, the Buffalo Bills select Jalen Phillips, edge out of Miami, Florida. The Bills' defense was pretty disappointing last season. Now, that's not to say it was god-awful, but it wasn't as good as it was in 2019. They still got a great secondary, but the pass rush really needs some work and was the main culprit for why the defense, it disappointed. They lack depth at the edge position, and Jalen Phillips is arguably the best pass rusher in this class, so honestly, why not go with him? He has good speed, agility, strength, and decent moves, and can stop the run pretty well. Now, he does have some health issues, as they were really glaring in college. In fact, he temporarily retired, but if he can stay healthy, I do believe he can make Buffalo's defense, rebound into an elite unit. Okay, you guys, editing Rahul here. So I recorded this video days before the Orlando Brown trade. So because of that, this video, when you guys are going to be seeing this video, the order will not be up to date. So because of that, I am going to be popping in and making a quick edit. So yeah, this will sound unnatural, but anyways, let's just go with it. So with the 31st overall pick, the Baltimore Ravens via the Kansas City Chiefs select Jayson Oweh, edge out of Penn State. Jayson Oweh, he is an athletic freak. He is very fast and is very strong and is really agile, and I mean, the guy is just an athletic freak, to put it simply. Not only that, but the guy has good versatility when it comes to, fitting base schemes, and he can fit a 4-3 scheme or a 3-4 scheme, so that's also pretty good, and Jayson Oweh has a lot of upside. However, the guy does have his issues. I mean, first off, he was pretty disappointing in 2020, and that was a big reason why his stock was lowered after the 2020 college football season. Not only that, but the guy, as much of an athletic freak he is, the guy also has a lot of technique. He has technique issues, and because of that, he could struggle in the NFL if he cannot refine his technique. However, Jayson Oweh, I mean, the guy has all the tools to be an amazing player. Not only that, but with good coaching, I mean, he can improve his technique, and honestly, I'm gonna take Jayson Oweh here because the Baltimore Ravens, they have a massive void when it comes to pass rusher after losing Matthew Judon and Yannick Ngakoue in free agency. Azeez Ojulari is not a bad pick either, but I think Jayson Oweh fits the scheme a lot better for the Baltimore Ravens, so ultimately, that is why I went with Jayson Oweh. And with a final pick of the first round and the 32nd overall pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Christian Barmore, defensive tackle out of Alabama. The Buccaneers have an extremely talented team, and it's a flat-out amazing team. They don't have a lot of weaknesses here, but personally, I just took the best player available in Christian Barmore. Barmore is a big and agile guy who also has really good hands. Ndamukong Suh is aging, and Barmore could be a good replacement once it's time for them to move on from Suh, whenever that is. Anyways, with that being said, that'll wrap up today's video. Thank you guys a lot for watching, it truly means a lot to me. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. And as I was saying before, if you guys are new and enjoy the content on here, make sure to subscribe as we are on the road, so you guys do not miss out on any new videos. Plus, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and once we hit our goal, I will do a reaction to my first two, I will finally do a face reveal. I'm sorry about that. I am finally going to do a face reveal once we hit our goal of 1,000 subscribers. But with that being said, I'm out, you guys.